Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So this video is going to be blisteringly quick. It's probably going to be the fastest video that I've ever done in my life. And that's probably somewhat of a lie and I'm being hyperbolic, but I want to get across that this video is going to be fast. So if you come in and you know, it's like, oh my God, it just ended. They cut him off. No, I intended it to be concise. I was thinking about making this a 420 because I wanted to be in my heart space when I had this conversation. I'm talking to a Democrat. Listen, Democrat. Listen, Democrat. If you're a wayward Democrat, if you've straddled away from the pack, you're uncertain. You don't necessarily know how you want to go, what direction you want to take, but you have doubts. You have doubts. Lend me your ear for the moment. If you've a Democrat full on, still give me the benefit of the doubt in what I'm about to say. Events around the world are taking on a magnificent significance, and we need to be very clear about our dispositions and where we stand in this particular situation, seeing as we could be on the brink of a larger conflict with a nuclear power nation. With Donald Trump at the helm, by the way. I am going to make a case to you, and I'm going to make this case from somebody who's not a Democrat or Republican. What I'm going to ask for you is, when you're within their party apparatus, when you're with anything, somebody calls themselves a Marxist, socialist, communist, whatever, they feel they need to defend that thing. They become a part of it. It's like the identity becomes ingrained in whatever that thing is. So you have people who are born and raised into a particular party, into a particular political system. It's not something they have to think about. It's not something that's even conscious. They understand it from the time that they're kids. You have two parties. That's what they're understood. That's what it's beat into their heads in this kind of this indirect way as they go through their affairs. Yes, there are other parties, but for all intents and purposes, the majority of the people flow in the stream. There's a reason for this. There are multiple reasons for this. Part of it is cultural, but part of it is also this narrative of, if I vote for something else, I'm wasting my vote. It's the idea that it's a cognitive thing of the other, the esoteric other. I could make this vote, but the other people are not going to make this vote, which means I shouldn't make this vote because I want my vote to count. So I'm going to vote for the person who I don't really want in that office. That's the logic, but you can't necessarily fault them for the logic. They look at it as cost-benefit analysis, who's least worse, in which case you have the situation of the battle of the least worse. Our government, what we have in our political affairs, is essentially that. So I don't necessarily blame the individual in the sense of being Democrats, even though I may have outbursts and even though I may get annoyed sometimes at some of the stuff that people say. I am going to ask you to not do that, to not give the benefit of the doubt. When you're looking at the Republican Party, you don't give them the benefit of the doubt. You think they're lying to you. You think they're mischievous. They're making shit up. You think they're scheming and conniving. And I would agree with you. They're political hacks. For the moment, though, I want you to look at your party with a tad bit more skepticism. Absolve yourself from this idea of a party label just for the moment. Stand outside of it. Be like you're out of body. And just look and just ask questions. That's all I'm asking. Ask questions. Hillary Clinton started the Trump and Russia stuff. I understand that you believe that the world is a particular way, that there are Ruskies at every corner. Ruskies are attacking us. Ruskies are in this place, that, the next place. What I'm making the point to you is that's made up. That's not real. That's something that was done for political effect. They use information as a political weapon in order to attack Donald Trump. That's the truth of it. Take a look back in time. This is a WikiLeaks document. Now, I understand you believe that WikiLeaks is a thing of tool of Russia, but for the moment, again, absolve yourself of that. And even if you want to believe that, continue to believe it. At the very least, though, you have to acknowledge that the information that's presented is true. It's the email. Brett, BBI, Web TV, 12/21/2015. Should have been at home with his kids or something, but instead he's writing to Podesta. Best approach is to slaughter Donald for his bromance with Putin, but not go too far betting on Putin and Russia and Syria. This story of Trump and Putin was crafted going all the way back to, at the very least, 2015. Donald Trump has said he was going to be conciliatory towards Putin, and they used that as a bludgeon to beat him over the head with. The fact is, the things that Donald Trump said within relation to Putin or Russia and the United States was somewhat true. When they asked him, but that's a bad guy, and Donald Trump kind of made the point that, do you believe that we're really that innocent in this stuff? That's true. That's an honest thing that he said. Now, for whatever reason you want to make up that he said it, that's true. They slaughtered him with it. Fact is, the American public doesn't get an honest perspective of the world, doesn't get an objective perspective of the world, get a perspective that's somewhat jaded within line with what the United States wants to get across. The media, for the most part, is stenographers at this point, and they just kind of are complicit in whatever the narrative is. So it is difficult for them to understand what Trump is saying in that very particular point of, we have done bad things, in the same way that they have done bad things. The Hillary Clinton camp looks at this and says, this is an awesome thing to beat him over the head with, because the American public is not necessarily going to understand the nuance of what Donald Trump is saying. And the fact that he said it is something that we can hit him with. Why is this guy so comfortable with Vladimir Putin? Why is this guy so friendly with Vladimir Putin? Trump and Russia, Trump and Russia, Trump and Russia. They took a strength. Him not wanting military conflicts and not wanting, at the very least, to be conciliatory towards Russia, and made it a weakness. And they bludgeoned with it. Fact is, the American public is the same American public that was in McCarthyism, the same American public that was in the Cold War. So it is very aware of the Ruskies. And if you're going to use that particular card could be effective, seeing as that particular card was effective in the past. Let's keep going. Let's go to after the election, just to make a point. And by the way, that's true. This is a flat fact that took place. That was something that they were talking about from the standpoint of the campaign, discussing, bludgeon him with his association with Russia. At the very least, accept that that's true. Let's keep going. The book Shattered. I have this book. I bought this book the moment the book came out. Within 24 hours of her concession speech, campaign chair John Podesta and manager Robbie Mook assembled her communications teams at the Brooklyn headquarters to engineer the case that the election wasn't entirely on the up and up. For a couple of hours, with Shake Shack containers littering the room, they went over the script they would push to the press and the public. Already, Russian hacking was the centerpiece of the argument. It was a political stunt. They did it for political effect. They needed to explain how she lost to reality shows. And they don't want introspection. They don't want to deal with those issues. She wants to make the case. I lost not because I was a horrible candidate. I lost because of Trump and Russia. This is literally what took place. These are flat facts. This is something that they cooked up. Let's move forward. The person who tipped off the person that there was something with Trump and Russia, the person who tipped them off, that person was part of the Clinton Foundation like 20 years prior. Now, going even further into that, the people who allowed Hillary Clinton to get off were also the same people that put Donald Trump on, meaning the same people who were spying on his campaign. I'm making a point to you that she is involved in every level of this process. Now, I understand you may say, oh my God, Hillary Clinton would never do that. Do you believe a Republican would do that? If so, why do you take that possibility away from the Democratic Party itself? I'm making a point to you that you have your bias based on your own either cultural identity or the way that you see Democrats. And if this situation was a Republican, you would believe the situation to be true. It is difficult to face, I would imagine. But the person who you supported and voted for leveraged that support, leveraged the fact that you voted for, leveraged the fact that you hated Donald Trump in order to craft a scheme to use Trump and Russia as a way of attacking Donald Trump and absolving herself of failure at the exact same time. That's the inception of this. Absolving failure. Other parties in this, however, took this and ran with it, each with their own reason for running with it. The media hates Donald Trump. The mainstream media has lost all level of objectivity in regards to Donald Trump, hates Donald Trump. So any narrative that Hillary Clinton is pitching that says Donald Trump works with Vladimir Putin is great for them. They get awesome ratings with Donald Trump anytime they cover Trump, anything that Trump does. They love the fact that Trump is on media. He's a reality show host. He does great on camera. What the guy said, he may be bad for television, but he's great for ratings and dollars. So they love this. So they pitch it and they scream it at the top of their lungs. Trump has been calling them fake news. They hate the fact that he's been calling them fake news. And so they scream it. Trump in Russia. Trump in Russia. Trump in Russia. You don't think that's a little weird? I mean, the party itself pitched this. They don't have anything to show over the 2 years. And the narrative that they've been using has been sliding, all the way back to Facebook and Twitter ads. I'm asking you to look at this from the standpoint of political actors who are trying to actually move and manipulate the public in a particular fashion. Democrats take this for two reasons. The run-of-the-mill Democrat has no paradigm to understand how Hillary Clinton could lose to reality shows. Trump in Russia makes that easy. It gives them something that they can get their head around of those fucking Russians and that goddamn Bernie Sanders. I'm just making the point to you that all of this, the inception of all of this, was for a political effect. The Democrats themselves also wants to absolve themselves of failure. They lost 1,100 seats. She lost to reality show hosts. They lost the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. They lost it all. They don't want to have introspection. They want to deal with what they believe they can bludgeon him with while at the same token covering their own side. Meaning, any level of introspection they feel can be used against them and would strengthen the hand of the populist left that's pushing on them at this very moment. Trump in Russia allows them to get back into power without absolving or dealing with the issues of themselves. Looking at this for the moment as somebody who's a little bit more cynical and not necessarily within the party line, like a person would typically be in the party alignment, certainly you can see that if you were looking at this on the other end, meaning if you were looking at this and you said, here are the factors that I'm presented with, and these are Republicans who are in it, you would think that person was guilty of sin. She did this for political effect. The events that took place afterwards kind of took a life of their own, each person with an incentive on running with that particular narrative. The point that I'm getting at is here, it's time to wake up. We've pushed Donald Trump, not we, but you guys have pushed Donald Trump in a way that's pushed him or given him incentive to get further involved in the Syrian conflict. Further. Meaning if he's trying to pull out, screaming at the top of your lungs, oh my God, he's a Putin puppet, he's a Putin puppet. All of the incentives, political incentives that you guys have used and pushed and leveraged on him have pushed him further into a potential conflict. That's not the left. That's not the left. We're at the situation now where Donald Trump is tweeting to Russia, telling them that the missiles are on the way. It's gone too far. I understand all of this started for political effect. It's gone too far. It's time to wake up. You were tricked. I'm sorry. You were tricked. It's absolutely true. You were tricked. This was political theater. Each person had their dog in a hunt. Each person had an incentive. Each person ran with it on their own. I have no idea whether Hillary Clinton knew it was going to get to this point. I doubt if she would have known that point. What I do know is it's time to wake up. It's time to start being party to this particular ethos in the way that we go about our affairs. The United States is in that country illegally. Do you understand that? And in being in that country illegally, the chemical attacks, all that stuff is up for question, even though it's not being questioned. All of this is under the pretense. All I'm saying is, I don't want to stray too far from the point. All I'm saying is, if you're looking at this with a little bit more skepticism in regards to the way you view your party, it's a hard case to make that this was not done for political effect. So I will end it on that. I'm not going to keep this one long. I know this one went longer than I wanted to, but just saying. Wow, we even have people here tonight. All right, fair enough. Yeah, I'm not going to keep this one long because I don't want to keep this one long. So if you guys enjoyed the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, y'all can support through Patreon. Thanks, everyone.